This is Joe with FridgeFTA.info. Today we're here with the HOTDISH90 and we're going to go over assembly instructions. First thing you're going to notice about the hot dish is the box is big. It's a 36 by 39 inch dish, so the box is a little bigger, weighs about 40 pounds. This is how it'll arrive. You'll want to start out with a scissors or a knife, cut the straps off. Inside the box, the first thing you'll see is a reflector. Now we'll note at this point you're going to want somewhere fairly big to be able to lay out all the parts and your tools and do the assembly. I chose a spare bedroom with an empty bed to do this on. Nice big piece of floor and it will work, but give yourself plenty of room to work. Do yourself a big favor, lay out all the parts nice and neat so you know what you got, and group everything together, you know, little nuts with the little nuts, big nuts with the big nuts, you know, bolts and pins that match, group it all together, lay it out. And instructions are right there, which may or may not be of help. Probably will help. For the first part of the assembly, flip the dish over like this. You're going to take this piece right here. Note that little triangle. The triangle needs to be facing towards the down part of the dish, the bottom of the dish. It's going to go on. About like that. You're going to take 4 carriage bolts that were in the bag and the 4 matching nuts and assemble this piece. And this is what it looks like when we're done with that. What you're looking at here, 14 millimeter. Or if you don't have a metric tool set, use a good crescent wrench. Just be careful not to strip anything. Here's the next thing to assemble: the mast clamp and elevation bracket. When done, you're going to end up with something kind of sloppy like this. Where my hand is where your mast or motor shaft is going to go, and then you tighten down these nuts around the shaft to secure the dish. Now, the next part's really important. Note the elevation scale and that I have it pointed down. That needs to be on the bottom side of the dish. You're going to take this assembly and it's going to go in like this with the 3 nuts and bolts on either side. When you put this in, you're going to want to leave it fairly loose too, as this has to pivot to adjust your dish elevation. Okay, your backside assembly is complete. As you can see, we left it loose so that we can set the elevation. Brackets are loose so that the mast will slide in very nice. Note right here, this is where you're going to see your elevation marks on both sides of this assembly. Okay, flip your dish over with the bottom side facing you. You can see the little hole where part of the L&B arm is going to mount. That's the bottom. Next thing we did is pre-assembled the L&B arm assembly. You don't want to just put on the L&B arm itself and let it hang on the edge of the dish. If you hit it on accident, you could tweak your dish. What we did is took the nut, bolt, and washer, pre-did the assembly. Very simple to do, and it's all sitting here loose, so we can bolt it all up on the dish at once. Okay, here's the L&B arm assembly attached to the dish. The bolt there, and a bolt on the other side. And the bolt that you already installed that hold the side arms to the L&B arm. One thing to note here, there's absolutely no reason to over tighten any of these. Don't risk warping the dish. It needs to be tight and secure, but there's no need to crank it down all the way. Just so it's nice and solid. Final part of the assembly, slide the L&B bracket onto the end of the L&B arm. Line the hole in the bracket with the hole in the metal shaft. Push the bolt through, nut and washer on the other side. I will note one thing, DMS includes this little black cap. It's actually meant to go in the back side of the L&B arm. It's my preference to not install these just in case water gets in the other end. That just gives it an excuse to pile up. It's optional if you want to put it in, go ahead. My preference is not to. And there's your completely assembled HOTDISH90, ready for L&B and installation on the master motor.